So I'd like to introduce to you Kishen E.
Thank you so much. And again, thanks for inviting AARP to speak and share with you about fraud prevention, fraud alert, anything fraud related. So thank you for the meal, and thank you for welcoming my daughter and myself. So I'm gonna go right ahead and get started. Let me ask this question. How many of you have ever heard of fraud prevention, fraud? Sort of, kind of, okay. How many of you have been victims of some type of fraud? Okay. And I too have been a victim of fraud, believe it or not. Within the last month or so, I want to say, somebody actually hacked into my email. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Things were popping up. I said, what the heck is this? And after doing some research, I found out that somebody gained access to my email and added their phone number to be notified if I changed my password. I don't know how it happens. You think with technology and the safeguards that you put on your devices that doesn't happen. I don't know how. But anyways, I'm going to share some things with you that hopefully you'll be able to utilize in your preventing fraud. And if you haven't noticed or had the chance to look, there are pamphlets in the back on the table. This one says AARP Fraud Prevention Handbook. This one is Watchdog Alert Handbook. And then there's another one that says the Con Artist Playbook. This guy actually was the grand godfather of inventing the deep dark web. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about data breaches, the dark web. Data breaches, or when you have access to your social security number, your medical records, your credit card information. So it's compromise, which is different from fraud. So when you think of identity theft versus identity fraud, again, theft is your identity has been compromised. Fraud is when they actually steal it and they utilize it. One of my coworkers that I worked with, she must have been in her late 20s, maybe. She was planning a wedding. So she and her fiance, they were wrapping up they were about to buy a house, but they were still planning a wedding. So she went to submit her information for the mortgage, and they said, there's some fraudulent activity. What is this? Because they have to run a credit check. Come to find out that somebody had stolen her identity, gone to Verizon, and I don't know how many cell phones had charged in her name. They didn't use her credit card, but they used her name. And because her name is attached to her social security number, it was compromised. So again, theft it's been compromised, but stolen is when somebody uses it. So she actually experienced fraud. So let's talk about the dark web. How many of you have heard of the dark web? Like, oh yeah, it's this spooky place and nobody knows anything about it. They have all these O's and ones and zeros and stuff, which is true. So if you look at this tells you about the web. The surface web is where we Google everything, or you may use Bing. You access information. You're trying to get some type of whatever. You can look up information. You can look up facts. So that's the surface. This is what the public utilizes. We use this on a daily basis. The deep web, however, is where there's legal information, which you can't really search it without going a little bit deeper. So it could be information like your medical records, and believe it or not, let me ask this question. How many of you think that your medical records are absolutely 100% protected? What about your bank account information or your social security numbers? You would think so, but what's not searchable by just Googling is in the deep web. And then if you go a little bit deeper, you can go into the dark web. And in order to access the dark web, which is where all of our social security numbers are housed, all of our medical records, where you can get into that information, there's special software that can give you access to that people actually purchase. So let's talk about high value profiles. Who has a high value profile? Now this guy, Blue London, he was the person who created hacking. So he says the overwhelming majority of stolen profiles on the dark web are of seniors. They are the easiest to acquire. They have the most value, because think about it, you've worked all your life, you build up your retirement, or you build up wealth, and it's easy to access it, and it's most valuable. And they are the least likely to become compromised, because most seniors don't check their accounts online, right? You would think, and I implore you to start checking it. I spoke last year at, it was an assisted living facility in Holland. And one guy came up after me afterwards and he said, hey, they'll never get my information because I don't use anything online. If you go into your bank, what are they doing? They're typing in information on a computer. Don't think just because you don't use it online, you don't have an account set up online, that it's foolproof. If there's any information that is typed into a computer, it can be accessed. So just be mindful of that. So this is the godfather of the dark web. He actually was arrested by the FBI. He served time in prison because he figured out how to hack the system. He made God knows how much money by doing that. And I'm going to, hopefully you can hear this. Let me stop. Because if you can't hear it, then I'll have to tell you what it says.
Maybe if you put the mic down by it, might pick it up.
Yeah, I can't see. Okay. I don't have my glasses. Technical. Start. Oops. Well, I can't figure out how to. That's all the way up. Oh, we're not gonna close out. Okay, thank you so much. So I'll play it. Hopefully you can read the bottom part of it. So it says, I'm the guy who built the first organized cyber crime community, and it laid the foundation for modern cybercrime channels that people still follow today. He was placed on the United States Most Wanted list. He served 7 years in federal prison, and there's no way that he can amend the damages that he caused in the past. So today he's trying to help people avoid and to protect themselves against the type of person that he used to be. The internet is made of basically 3 different areas. The first is the subsurface, basically everything you Google. That's 4% of the internet. 96% is everything else, your medical bills, your emails, anything that's behind some type of wall within the deep web, that's called the dark web. It has a lot of criminal activities, things like information can be sold at large on there. They can buy your social security number, your date of birth for $2.90. He can buy completely your whole identity, including your address, your date of birth, your license number, your background on a credit report. They can buy your entire profile for as low as $40 or as high as $130. Just last year, 1,500 reported breaches, 2.6 billion records were compromised. Your information is out there. So knowing that, then what can you do about it? There are basically 3 things you can do. First is freeze your credit for yourself and every single person in your house, including your kids, because children are the #1 victims of identity theft. You can put a credit freeze on any existing accounts, bank accounts, credit cards, email logins, merchant logins, and put alerts on those accounts so you can have that protected. Another thing is change your password multiple times throughout the year. Do not use the same password. They advise some people to use a password manager, which is basically a software program that picks the password for you to make sure that you're more safe. So the three things is freezing your credit, monitoring your accounts, and using a password manager. It makes you a lower risk for being a victim. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. When I first learned and started doing this presentation, I didn't know that I could freeze my accounts. Have any of you frozen your accounts? You can freeze your account, and when you're ready to open up another account or they need to check your credit, you can unfreeze it. Then they can run your credit, or you can apply for whatever, and then you can freeze it again. So it is entirely up to you. You can stop it, start it however often you need to, but it is in your control to do that. So again, freeze your credit. I have a friend, when she told me that she froze her credit, I'm like, what is that? Tell me more about it. And so if somebody does compromise or have access to your social security card and they try to charge something, it won't go through because it's been frozen. So you absolutely control that. The next is to monitor your accounts online. I actually, when I did another presentation last year, there was a lady, she spoke and she said, oh my gosh, that just happened to me. And what happened was she noticed that frequently she would get these like $1.51 charges on her account, or there would be small amounts. And a lot of times what criminals are doing, they're trying to see if it actually goes through, they can actually charge it. And then if it goes through, you know, a few go through at a time, they know it's legit. And then that's how they use your account. So that's why it's good to monitor your information online, because you can see the activity that happened to me last year. And I don't know what made me look, because I don't frequently look at my account, but I looked in that particular instant. And I said, what is this? And it was somewhere out in Washington State. It was like $29, whatever it was, but I reversed it. So I implore you to check your accounts. And then also you can use a password manager. Have you ever logged onto your computer and it asks you if you want to save it, your accounts? That's one way. Or you can purchase software that would function the same way. Now the VPN is the virtual public network, or I can't think of the name, what the initials stand for. But basically it protects your account. I work at a school, in a school system, and if I'm working off-site, my VPN comes up, I have to type in a password, and it allows me to work protected to make sure that any information about teachers is protected. So that's another way, and that's when you're like in public spaces. So we talked about freeze your credit. You can monitor your accounts online. You can get a password manager if you choose, and then also you can use a VPN. So one thing I want to mention is he talked about children. Children are a vulnerable population. They have social security numbers. Nobody's ever going to check their credit until they become 18. So I encourage you to do that with your grandchildren. I have a granddaughter. I haven't checked her account. She's just just barely one, but they're going to prey on whoever they can. So just be mindful of that. Now, the majority of us are not victims of identity fraud, but we can protect ourselves. They're looking for low-hanging fruit. What's easy to access? Who can I get to? My mom is recently a widow. My dad passed away about 3 years ago, and people are constantly calling her. Hey, you want to sell your house? And they're calling to the point that she is so annoyed by it, but they get information and they just start preying on you. And if you don't stand firm, you may break down and give into it. But again, criminals, cyber criminals are lazy. The whole low-hanging fruit, that's who they're going to access. And hopefully that's not you. So here's our number. If you want to find out more information about protecting yourself These pamphlets are available for you in the back. It doesn't cost anything. It can cost you if you don't protect yourself though. And we don't want that to happen. I have my mom's cousin, she's also a widow. Somebody reached out to her through Facebook and actually swindled her out of like $10,000 by just, yeah. I guess I told something about my family that my daughter didn't know, but yeah, stole money from her. But again, this 877-908-3360 is a number that you can call. You can go to aarp.org/fraud watch network to find out more. But again, it's really up to us to protect ourselves because criminals are out there and yeah, they're doing their job and we just want to make sure that we protect ourselves. That's all that I have for you. Again, you have the dark web, the public Wi-Fi, protecting yourself, and then the additional resources. If you want more information or want to contact AARP, the information is here. Again, my name is Kishen. I am glad to be here. I hope that this was beneficial, and I thank you for your time.
Scott, and any questions out there? A lot of information, maybe we've had some stories or things like that.
How do you protect your deed? That's, you hear a lot about that, where somebody just goes in and changes their, like you sold their house, you sold them their house.
That is tricky. Now, believe it or not, I used to be a realtor too. And unless you monitor that, most people don't monitor their deeds. And they don't find out until it's too late that something has happened. If that's a concern, by all means, go down to the clerk office, see what's there. It's public information. That's what I did realize, is that your information, anything that's on your deed, anybody can access it without going to the dark web. I can go on and with your name or your address, if I'm just driving by and it looks like it's empty, I can go in and type to see what information is in there. So it is available. And that may change. Hopefully it does, because that's too
easy.
It is. It's too easy to access that information, but it's available. So I would, by all means, check that out. I do know family members whose deeds have different names on them now. And they take advantage of the vulnerable population. It could be somebody who has dementia or somebody, you know, who's trusting this person and signing their documents away. So don't sign anything. I don't care if it is a family member, unless you trust them or go to have an attorney look at it, because it does happen. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
On the password manager, is that did you say that's creating new passwords, or does it help you store them? I mean, we have, between my husband and I, close to 150 passwords, you know, and it's like, you're not supposed to write them down. So it's like, how do you, I
Yeah.
can't remember them all, so.
And see, I have my passwords stored in my phone. I'll probably change that. But the password manager, it manages your password. So say, for example, if you've ever clicked on create a password for me, it's something that makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's not tied to birthdays, addresses, old pets' names. It's not attached to anything. So that would be one way. And when you use a password manager, the main password is the password that you create. But they can create others, and sometimes it'll change and it'll let you know what it is. Or you have to have a multi-step process to make sure that you have access to it, like an additional phone number or another email. And if all those change, then you need to make sure that it's updated, because you could be locked out. So I would recommend a password manager, because you don't have to remember but the one password. Mm-hmm. Yes.
One of the names of those password managers is called FastPass,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and my financial guy recommended that I use that, which I haven't yet, but it's called FastPass.
FastPass. I've heard of that one too. So, and I mean, they're good tools to utilize. It does protect you. Because people they're sneaky, and their job, especially criminals, is to take as much information from those who are unsuspecting. Any other questions? Yes.
This isn't really a question, but one thing that happened to our son, he was in boot camp, had left all of his credit cards at our house. Everything, he had nothing with him other than, his driver's license, whatever. And we got a bill for one of his credit cards with charges on it. For the time he was in boot camp. We called them and they said, oh, we're responsible. And I mean, we were persistent. It took us almost a week and a half, but you need to be persistent with people. And they finally wiped everything down to zero, but it's like, you don't know how it happens.
Yeah, you don't know.
But you need to be persistent.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have a question?
Well, I'm old, so when I was in college, when we took major exams and stuff, what the number they gave was your social security number. That was what used to be posted on the side, yeah. And you sit here and I haven't given that up for years, but it was right on display. When your grades came out, that was there.
Wow.
So how long was that? I mean, I would imagine they went back to Purdue University in 1974 or 5.
Yeah.
You could still find all that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I know I went to Michigan State and they gave us a number, which go white. That's right. We all know that. But I wonder if there's a way to protect that. We also, with AARP, last year, we really petitioned to have Social Security, the last 4 of your Social Security number not to be included in your absentee ballot, because this guy from the deep dark web, that number was the key for him to enter and get more information. Those last 4. And so you can actually, if somebody requires that, you can be adamant or persistent that you don't want to share that information. Is there another way? Because that is a popular number. If somebody gets that information, yeah, I live at, going back to my realtor days, this is my address. They can find date of birth, your maiden name, your mother's maiden name, everything can be accessed on the web. Have you ever wondered how somebody got your information? Why are they sending me this in the mail? Because of these reports, this information that they get from the dark web, and they create these forms and all of this information so that people can buy them. It's crazy. They're making money. I don't have the time. But people buy this equipment, this software, so they can access information, which is unfortunate. Yes.
When right when COVID was coming out and everybody was trying to get a test.
Yeah.
I pulled up on Google. I said, okay, where can I get a test? And so, a site pops up, and it said sign up. Well, anyway, all I did was I put my phone number in there. And the next day I started getting, and until to this day, get multiple calls all day long that my phone actually screens out and says that it's spam or something like that, and I just don't answer the phone anymore. So if anybody tries to call me and I don't answer, it's because somebody's soliciting me or whatever,
And what they do is sort of like a lead magnet, which means once you Google something, they're identifying everything about you. They're looking at your habits. They look at what you Google. They use your IP address to find out who you are, where you're located. And then whatever you Google, whatever you search, they're creating a profile about you, which is crazy. Yes.
Well, look for a pair of shoes, and all of a sudden, the next day, you'll be on the sidebar, you're getting shoes or whatever you look at online. It's just amazing how they distribute all this information.
Yeah, and we're about to enter this whole artificial intelligence. They're talking about that, and it reminds me of the Tower of Babel. Everybody's trying to create stuff, and it's going to disseminate at some point. Yeah.
Just a quick comment. Jane's mom, we had an issue up in Saginaw with her, so with one of those phone solicitors and, you know, that seemed to know all about the family, had all the family names and everything. She said, you know, go get some gift cards and take them to 7.
Yes, that's a scam.
And so she was on her way, but we finally.
Oh, my God.
Got her off of that. And then my mother, a couple years after she passed away, all of a sudden, my sister who took care of all the mail starts getting all these credit cards. And here's this credit card, here's this credit card, and magazine prescriptions and everything for my mom. And so she got the police involved, happened to know detective there, Shalat. And so they got on that case right away. And that went pretty quick for that, but they found it was from a attendant at the nursing home that she was at. Had somehow accessed all that information, you know, and that's kind of the other thing, you know, it's like wherever you're going now, you have to put in, everybody wants all your information.
Yeah.
You go to this doctor, now you go to a specialist, and now it's over here. You go to the bank, now we're going to mortgage people, and you know, you say your information, it's like it's hard to keep a hold of it because it's just out there. It's already out there. So,
Yeah.
like your questions, you know, is everything protected? It's like it's out there. You know, I don't think it's protected,
But-
some of the stuff you talked about was good.
I think the freezing, once you freeze your credit, nobody can do anything. Yes.
What about using sites like DuckDuckGo or nobody's supposed to be untraceable or whatever they do?
If you input anything, type in anything and add it into the computer, wherever it is, the dark web and the deep dark web has that information. Yeah. Any other questions?
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Lots of information on there. Of course, a lot of times that asks, you know, raises more questions out there, things you can do. They brought all those pamphlets that she talked about are back there. There's some freebies back there, some bags and some hats and stuff. So as you're leaving tonight, make sure to stop back and pick some of those up. Just another plug for AARP. If you're already an AARP member, that's a good thing. If you're not, you should be if you're over 55, because they'll send you this little cards and get all your discounts at Denny's and everything. Okay, but also they have tons of programs through AARP, life insurance and travel and all kinds of stuff, fitness. So AARP is a good place to go if you want to. All right, you'll probably have to put in all your information. But just a plug for that, for the AARP. All right, thank you very much for all the information. It was great. All right. Coming back to our club just a little bit. July events, we kind of talked about the June events. July 1st, we're doing the relief table for the Balloon Festival run. Hope if we got signed up for that or signed up for that. Do we need that?
I'll bring it to the next meeting and bring it back again.
Okay, yeah. Last year we did a relief table and made some money for the clubs for doing that and for the run that they have. Okay, and then July 12th is normally the Steak Fry Day, and this year we're going to do something different, change it up a little bit. I've been in touch with the Battle Creek Battle Jacks baseball team, which is the college team that plays at Bailey Park. And we're going to do a group outing to the ball game for our club. And Jane will be passing out the little flyers. We'll try to get that out in the newsletter this week too. And we'll be mailing out the other ones if they're not, to the people that aren't in attendance tonight. $25 for the night. It's going to get you into the game. It's going to get you a Battle Jacks hat to wear. They have unlimited hot dogs and chips and brats through the 5th inning. So all you can eat through the 5th inning, unlimited sodas and pop for the whole game. So, and then we'll be sitting together, and then they've got some other group events that they put on. So it should be a fun little outing, okay? $25 for the night per person. And the flyer kind of explains all that. And we'd like the money ahead of time. I've got to have the money to them, or I'll get the tickets 2 weeks before. So June 24th, which is that Saturday, if we can know how many we're going to have. And some kind of like we've been doing that works out well, send a check to Jane and follow the instructions on the flyer. And that'll be good. Okay, yeah, all right. And then family picnic is coming up. Dorothy Bossy is cheering that on August 23rd. Yeah.
And it's going to be at Cedar Creek Golf Course again. I am working with. Anyway, the lovely lady that works there, they provide all the food. They do the table settings, the cleanup and beverages, and there's always plenty. So we're looking forward to everyone coming out. There will be some games and some fun activities, and mainly we're just gonna be able to get together and enjoy each other's company. She said if anyone is interested in golfing, you let us know. You can get in earlier in the day, but that is a golf league night, so it gets busy around the time that we'll be playing, or we'll be having our party.
Okay.
If it's too hot, we will be moving inside.
All
That's the
right.
nice part.
Yeah, that was a nice event last year, and hopefully we can do it again this year. Dorothy's chairing that. Make sure if you'd like to help her with that, I'm sure she'd appreciate any kind of help to put that on for that. So we got a couple of fun activities this summer coming up and so hopefully everybody can partake in those and enjoy those. All right. Anything else that we need to discuss tonight? If not, we'll go into our games here tonight.
All right.
50-50.
First.
Yeah.
We have 3 prizes of $6 each.
Okay, I'll do this right. What do we have for prizes?
3 prizes of $6 each.
$6 each. All right. Who's our lucky technical assistant can draw the first one. All right, did you pick your own now?
Also.
Okay. Last 3 digits are 502. Red ticket, Dorothy Bossy. Okay. All right. Pick another, Winnie. And this one is 478.
That's me.
Very nice.
Jerry,
All right.
I got the wrong ones.
Muriel, what's happening? Nobody's won at your table yet.
I've got the wrong.
Look at you go.
Ah. We better give Muriel the last one just because.
You got 3 chances to win the card draw, though. You got more chances to win the card draw.
Okay, there you go. You have 3 chances for the card draw now. All right, 517. There we go. Yay. All right.
Get money.
Okay, membership. Melvin Jones winners. I'm here. What do we have? 1550 membership draws.
That, she's not even a member anymore.
Pay no attention to that first one.
That was a prize.
Never saw that.
Hey, hey.
Bob Harvey. Ka-ching.
I'll double check.
Better get your attendance record out.
Yeah.
You think he was here?
247.50.
Okay, we're down to the card draw, $247.50, $247.50. for the card draw. All right, Mariel, three-time winner here, three-time chance on the blue ticket. Blue tickets for the card draw.
966.
966. Blue ticket.
966.
Jerry.
Jerry's night.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have a deck of cards. We put them out. They have to draw the ace of spades. If they draw the ace of spades, they win the pot. If they don't, that card gets destroyed and the numbers keep going down. So this has been progressing along for some time. Got a spade, but the 9.
How many cards are left?
We will have that information momentarily. All right, so that rolls over. Yeah. Say bye-bye. All right. Okay, Bob Harvey, happy buck time?
There's 28 cards left.
28.
Happy bucks. Looks like Teresa wants to start out. Could you? Okay. Ooh,
There you go.
good.
Really happy tonight. So I have one for our guest speaker tonight. Thank you. That was just really informative. Thank you. One for Harriet and one for Roger for their Melvin Jones. Congratulations. That's wonderful. And then the last two are just for everyone that's been working so hard. All the different events, and thank you. It's good to be aligned.
Thank you. Dorothy?
Kishen, thanks again. I think that there were so many things that I hadn't thought about that you brought up that really I need to be thinking of. So thank you very much. I'm going to also put a big a star above my head about being proud to be a Lion. I have never been around such positive people as I was this past weekend. It was just so many fun people, so many wonderful people. We got to do a couple of elevator speeches. When people go, I see all these lions around here. What exactly is that? And so, you know, it was fun. They were interested. They talked a lot. They may not join our club because we were in Muskegon, but you know, if they find someone, a club to join, how wonderful is that? That's just amazing. And the last is, as Roger said, my Triumph made it to Muskegon. It ran great. It rained. The windshield wipers worked, but it didn't leak. And it was wonderful. And it made it home too. And my back didn't hurt. Thank goodness for old vintage cars.
British cars.
Where's this table?
I have to make up for the last time. Anyway, a wonderful speech. Thank you very much for coming and bringing your daughter. I've heard before, and it was through, quote, Vernon Brook. And there used to be a lady named Barb, and she gave the fraud talk, but it was different than what you said. You're more technical. Anyway, and congratulations to Roger and Harriet for their Melvin Jones Progressive. I'll have to figure out what that is with the word progressive on the end. And I'm glad Jerry got the chance to do the cards. And just for being a Lion, and hopefully our missing guests will show up someday. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got one for our speaker. Thank you for being here. We really enjoyed your information, and we will take heed. Another one, going back to the state convention this weekend, when they announced, I know a lot of us here in the club bought the raffle tickets, the $10 tickets. And the very first ticket that they drew was the $5,000 award. And Chad McCann said, okay, Battle Creek, get ready, because the phone number starts with 269. And we were all excited, but we do think that Roger and Dorothy sold the winning ticket. It was to a lady, Linda, somebody.
Hell.
To tell.
Yeah. And so that was very exciting. And also Roger Bossy got a certificate of appreciation for being on the GAT team. And that was nice and exciting to see another one of our club members up there. So here we go.
I got three. I've got one for the speaker. That was really interesting and scary. One for the state convention. I mean, run a state convention a long, long while ago, and how much work goes into those things. And so that was really appreciative. And one for Roger Boss's GAT appreciation certificate. Well done, Roger.
Thanks, Bob. I have two, probably have more, but one for our speaker tonight. Thank you so much. And I will probably go ahead and get that fast pass thing going, because my guy said, yeah, you really need to use this, because it's apparently it's pretty easy. I don't know how it works, but I'll check into it. So thank you for that, for the information tonight, though, because it is kind of scary when you start getting all the emails from companies that you buy things from and all the things. So, and then the other one for our state convention, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I've been to a few of them, and this was probably the most fun that I've had at one. And I was able to network with some of the people on my state committee that I only see on Zoom. And so we were able to sit together at dinners and talk about Lions and, you know, different things. And so I learned a lot, and learned about a fundraiser that we might want to check into. So anyway, it was a great experience, and appreciate all the support for having us go. So.
One for the speakers. Oh, really appreciate it. It was really good information. It's scary. One for the speaker. Thank you very much. And one for the nice weather. I was able to get Sharon out there to plant some flowers and things. So I was glad to do that while I took a nap. I have one for the speaker who did a good job of scaring us all.
It's hard to scare.
And one for Harriet, congratulations. And one for Roger Spriggs for the newsletter that he always puts out. That's spectacular. And one for our club in general, because there are too many people to talk to identify. But thank you, everybody.
Kishen wanted to.
Yeah, first, well, I want to thank you for the invite. I do enjoy sharing about this, because we have people that just don't deserve to have their identity taken or money stolen. So I definitely am a proponent of sharing. So I don't know if there was one or two. Thanks for the dinner. So I have 5 for, thanks for just your kind words. I hope that at least one person takes action and try to protect themselves. I want to thank my daughter for coming with me. And you know, the weather is great, and I just pray that God allows us to make it back home safely.
Jim?
I have to use that? I do? I have to use this? Shit. One's for gold green. That's right. There's that one. The other one's for the speaker tonight. A lot of good information. And I'm a former realtor, and I know exactly where you are. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Oh,
Yep, there's a few for Melvin Jones winners here. Good for that. Roger getting a nice award. It's always good to get awards at those conventions. Our speaker, great information again. Is your card over there? Do we have your card or is it on the back of the?
Don't have personal cards.
Okay.
But the contact information was up there, but I can make sure that.
Okay, or there's information on there. So, okay, yep, so we'll do that. Thank you to Roger for coming and then running home and getting the projector so we could have that. So appreciate that. And what's today? Wednesday. Tomorrow night, our grandson graduates from preschool. So kindergarten in the fall. So yeah, our first graduation for the grandchildren, you know, so grandpa and grandma will be there. So, all right. Okay, anything else? I think we're good.
If
One more
anyone
thing.
has money, their medicine bottles with money in it, I'll take that, or if you need some more, I have them on the back table, so.
All right. Okay, our next meeting is a regular meeting. Don't forget about picking up the brochures on the back. And don't forget about the sign up sheet for the breakfast festival.
Right.
you
Morning
know.
of June 10th.
Yeah,
June
June
10th,
10th, Saturday. They can use some people, some screeners, and so get with Roger, Teresa, I think, and Mary are coordinating that. And Miriam?
My question is, how much are the dues?
How much are the dues? The budget committee will be meeting soon. Okay. The budget committee will be meeting soon. The dues have gone up a little bit for LCI, and we haven't heard on the district and state yet. So they may be going up a few dollars. It's not like a huge increase, but there'll probably be a few dollars increase. And so we'll have to decide, the budget committee is going to have to take a look at that. Actually, we just discussed that at the board meeting last week, and that the budget committee will be meeting together to see what they're going to do. Are they going to pass that on, or what? Or the budget committee is looking at the dues. Right now, I don't have an amount for you. Okay. Well, all right. Okay. Thank you for coming, everybody. We'll see you June 12th. All right.
Thank you so much.